sports. This is OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
Here we go, OverDrive, off and running, TSN 1050 on the TSN app, your home smart speaker, up on TSN 5, up on YouTube Live, on TSN's YouTube channel. Brian Hayes, the O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles McLennan.
What's going on today?
Well, not good.
We
that one
just
hurt.
saw it.
That one hurt.
That does sting.
The U.S.
I'm like
just
brokenhearted.
won in overtime.
Oh, God. It's just... I was like, these girls are going to hang on and win the gold, but it just was like, it was just one too many times they couldn't get it out, and they made a play to win the game, and then they made another one to, like, I don't know. It was tough to watch. I was devastated when that puck went in the net.
No, it's crushing, man, because it was what you expected to an extent. I mean, Canada showed up for the game, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're just tuning in. The Americans won in overtime. 3-on-3, always hated 3-on-3 in overtime. Always have.
Yeah,
always been against it in the biggest games. And Canada had a lead the whole game. Your girl O'Neill scored shorthanded.
I know.
And they were holding on, and it was a tightly contested, tightly checked. The Americans didn't give up a goal the whole tournament. So Canada's up 1-0. They pull the goal. He shot from the point. Of course, Knight tips it and goes to overtime, and Canada had a lot of opportunities in overtime.
Yeah, they did.
Like, they had a 2-on-0. They got checked. They had multiple odd women rushes. They had a lot of opportunities.
Woman rushes.
Got to make sure I get the language right.
Yeah.
And in the end, an American dances on a one-on-one, goes 5-hole, and you're coming home with silver.
Yeah, I don't know who she danced there, but that's a tough one to...
Yeah, you got to... I mean, 3-on-3 it's a roller coaster.
No, I get it though, but if you got to live with that, like this, I'm the one that she dangled around to get the golden goal. Like, that's just a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, it hurts because that goal will be played for the rest of time.
That's right.
Yeah, it's hard, but you know what? Listen, he'll take a silver. They played well. I don't know. Did you get the sense that the Americans were kind of the better team? They were the favorite, don't you think? I mean, I know Canada showed up today.
They were the favorite, but I mean, it speaks to what we've been talking about. A one game wins all scenario. Yeah, exactly. Doesn't matter who would win a best of 7 or who's won what leading up to it. You knew both teams were going to be amped up, which they were. You knew it was going to be tightly checked and contested and a short bench, which it was. And it was going to come down to who could be a hero. And what's unfortunate is, Marie-Philippe Poulin has been a hero so many times for Canada. And we have had so many heroics on both the men's and the women's side.
Yeah, she just needed a sidekick today.
Just needed someone else to put them over the top. Make it 2-0 in reg or find a way to win in overtime. And Canada couldn't find it. And, it's... you knew it was going to be the Americans on the women's side. You knew what was coming. This game was going to happen. It was a lock. It'll be a lock in 4 years. And I think it's safe to say that 4 years from now they'll play again.
Yeah.
You gotta find a way to bring your A stuff on that game. That's the game that matters. That's the one you got to get to. You're going to get to it. And it was a great game. They lost in overtime. It's not, they didn't get blown out, and that was the anticipation. I think that's what you're speaking to, Noodles.
Yes.
They lost 5-0 in the group stage. They got pumped.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case today.
No, it was a coin flip game. They gave themselves an opportunity. You have a 2-on-0 in overtime. You didn't get a shot off. But
how did she not pass? I'm yelling at the screen like, pass. You've got a 2-on-0. You allow yourself to get checked on the short side. I cannot believe she didn't make that play.
Yeah.
But anyway, it stinks, and they're going to review the tape, and we're going to have to live with it for 4 more years.
Yeah, and they got a silver medal. But,
I hear you. But
those girls were not playing for a silver medal.
But they were always getting a silver medal. That's you start the tournament with a silver medal for the most part. On the women's side, Canada and the U.S. know what's coming.
Right.
Canada's it's their 8th straight Olympics in the gold medal game. They were fairly confident. I think they knew take care of business, we'll get there.
Yeah.
And you're right, it's not like a silver is still a silver. It's still a great accomplishment.
I know, but they had no interest in it.
They want a goal. Both teams, and that's the beauty of that competition and that rivalry. is that you just know it's going to be a brawl to see who comes out on top and who gets to hang that gold medal, over the other team for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
And that's what's coming. And you're going to have world championships, and you'll have Summit Series, and there's other ways that you can get them, but this is the one. This is it. Every 4 years, you got one big game. Who's going to win it?
Yeah.
And
shout out to our colleagues, Cheryl and
Kenzie. Yeah,
they did a great job calling the game.
Yeah, it was an unbelievable performance. It was a great atmosphere in the building. You could feel it. It was what you would expect for a gold medal game between the two biggest rivals in the sport.
Yeah, the two powerhouses, and like I say, predictable or not, you knew they were going to be in the final, but it was a heck of a game, and both sides deserve a lot of accolades, but it's the USA that comes out on top in this one, and you know what?
Now
the
you
Canadian.
To the men, and it's
well,
like
I was going to say the men's side have an opportunity to get gold, but they've still got to get through Finland. You gotta be careful there.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say this puts more pressure on. I don't think it's possible to have more pressure than what the men are dealing with, and the women. I mean, but now the women's been settled. It's silver for Canada, gold for the U.S. I don't think this will have any bearing on the pressure on either the Canadian side or the men's side, the U.S. side on the men's side. Like, both teams know they're there for gold too, and that's just going to be what happens over the next 24 hours. I do think the U.S. against Slovakia sets up as probably an easier route, certainly historically and definitely on paper. But
I don't think there's any doubt in that, Brian. There's no doubt in that.
Yeah,
no doubt. But Slovakia has been very good. So you get to these tournaments, and there can be teams that just connect and are pesky and fight and start to believe. And I'll bet you they make it a game, but Finland, they have more NHL players. I think Soros will be in net. Soros is obviously a really good goalie. It'll be a challenge for Canada tomorrow morning on the men's side.
Can't take them lightly. That's the last thing you do is take them lightly. Good sign, though, on a positive note. Let's try and spin it positively. 87's not ruled out the rest of the tournament, so maybe there's a chance.
Might go for a spin. Doogie reported.
Doogie
reported that 87 might take a spin tomorrow.
Yeah, Cooper said, by no means ruled out. We're not going to put anyone in harm's way, but if he can play, he's definitely going to go. We'll know more in the next 24 hours.
That, to me, is code for if we get to a gold medal game, he'll put his gear on and go out there, but not before then.
I don't think he's playing tomorrow.
No.
I think it's still a low percentage he plays, period, man. I think what this means is it's not a catastrophic injury, right? Like, if it was, they would just say it. I mean, if he's not, if he's needs surgery or something, then just come out and say he's done.
But Hayes, I think if he wasn't going to play, wouldn't you think Cooper would say that? Like, what would be the sense of saying there's a chance? Like, you think other teams are going to be like, oh, what? I wonder if Sid's going to play. Don't you think if he was done for the tournament, Cooper would say we won't see Sid the rest of the tournament?
I think it's out of respect to Sid that he's going to try. Yeah. I guess that's the point I'm making. I'm not suggesting Cooper's being disingenuous or playing head games. I think it's like it's one of those, he ain't playing, but man, I'm not telling him. He's going to rehab and skate and battle and do everything he can to get there. I'm bracing for him not playing. And I think that's probably what Canada's camp is thinking. Brace for him not playing, certainly not tomorrow. If he does play,
bonus.
It's a cherry on top, man. But it does bring up a question. Like, if he does play, what if he's at 80%? Like, where is the line for you for Sid to be in the lineup? Is it if he's at a 1% he still plays?
It's 50 for me. Because the leadership, just being around. My understanding, he got hurt in the second period. He still addressed the team after the second period at 2-2. Like, that type of stuff, the intangibles, they can go 11-7. They can go 11-6.
Dress extra forwards. You can dress a 13th forward.
But you're right.
I'm
but
not
what I mean,
dressing the guy to put him on the bench the whole game. And the other thing is, Jamie, he has to be able to move.
Well, but if he's 50%, you know what adrenaline's going to do. He'll be able to grind it out. And the thing is if he can somehow play, he's playing. We know that. That's Sidney Crosby. The guy literally lives hockey. We know that. Mm-hmm. We don't know anything about Sidney Crosby's personal life, nothing. You know what we know about this guy? 21 years in a row is a point a game. Shows up every night, plays every night. We thought his career was done with how many concussions? Showed back up again. Like, this guy is resilient. I'm telling you, 50%, I want him on the bench. I want him there, and even if it's one shift or a difference maker, because he is the type of guy who could be a difference maker if he got one shift. That's the type, and I guarantee you the Americans are paying attention, because that's Sidney Crosby.
It's a different world without him. Like he
exactly.
is, he's the face of the program. He's the captain. There's an aura about him that is unparalleled.
And I understand what you're saying. Oh, here's the other thing. You can give the extra ice time to 97. Like 97 can play 24 minutes in a gold medal game, and he'll be fine with it. If anything, he'll be asking for more. So you can bleed him into the lineup if he's available to go, and then 97 and 29 will take over the rest.
Has a forward ever played 30 minutes? Like, I think McJesus could play 30 minutes for fun.
Well, in this tournament or ever? He's played 30 minutes.
I remember
he's played 30 minutes.
That's an interesting question. I mean, Phil Esposito has played 30 minutes. You know, like if you go back 50 years, remember he famously would have like 4-minute shifts.
Doogie, you got to look that up. When the last forward was in the NHL or like Olympic to record a 30-minute. I can't remember. Nick Lidstrom
in regulation,
like regulation,
in a 60-minute regulation game. Who was the last guy? Now, again, there may be, one guy got suspended, another guy got injured, and you're down to 10 forwards.
Right.
Like, if you're talking 12 forwards, 60 minutes, it's a good question. I don't know the last time a guy would have hit 30. Like, that is literally more than double shifting.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you want him to with the speed of the game and all that. Like, we talked about it. That overtime could have been catastrophic for McDavid and McKinnon.
Yeah, they lost their check badly.
They were playing 3-on-3 NHL on a Tuesday.
Yes.
That's what they were doing.
Cheating and trying to get bad changes.
Like, whoa. Like that was I think they might have gone back over the tape, look back and say, we dodged a bullet there. And
Big
thank
time.
you to Jordan Binnington. But you go back 3-on-3 on a Tuesday night in November, that's how you play. That's how Draisaitl and McDavid play. They're on the other side of the puck and hoping Bouchard gets it up to him. But
totally. And even that's how the Czechs played when Marner was coming down on them. Just out for a skate. You know, I'll pick up this guy. Oops, it's in the back of the net.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think with Sid, I hear what you're saying about the intangibles and stuff. That can be there for the build-up. He can speak to them before the game. He can be around in the intermissions. I think if he's got his gear on, you have to expect he can play. And if he's on the ice, these games are they mean too much for a guy that could be a liability. You know, if he can't skate well enough, I don't know how you play him.
Yeah, there's other factors involved too. Like, we don't know the injury. We don't know how serious it could be. And if it's really bad and he's like, this might be my last game of the season type stuff, he's going to do whatever he can to play it. Like, there's all kinds of different scenarios that would alter his decision on whether he plays or not. And those are all going to come into play. You know, it's going to be a lot. He's not playing in the Olympics at 43 years old or whatever the hell it is. Mm-hmm. This is his last Olympics, so he is going to do whatever to get out there.
And there were some amateur doctors on X. I saw Dreg tweeting at one. They were arguing a little bit, saying, that's only a grade.
Arguing with a doctor on Twitter anyway.
Grade
Guys,
1 MCL strain.
Why are the doctors they don't know. If you're not, I think they just like getting clicks to analyze
what everyone's doing online.
Yeah,
everybody's
they're just like,
it.
I just saw that guy go to the ground. You don't know squat. You aren't there. You didn't look at the guy's leg. Everything's different. Mm-hmm. You can't look at a hockey play with equipment on and assess the guy's injuries and saying he's probably in or probably out. What are you, nuts? People have lost their damn mind.
A huge following for it, though, because there's a doctor that does it for NFL guys all the time.
Dude, I know. Is that the guy that Ryan Leaf hates?
It might be. It might be.
There's one guy that Leaf just goes after as soon as he assesses injuries, and then I think Leaf found him at the Super Bowl right around the corner from us and chewed him out, man.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. It was a scene down there at the Super Bowl.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Those doctors, though, they love being the one chiming in. I think that's 2 to 3 weeks, and I would not expect them to come back in this game, and then they're just off the
that's their
X.
world, right? Like, they're waiting to get in there. They want to get in the game. MCL, I see this. I think it's an ACL. It could be a high ankle. And they obviously don't have a clue. You know, it's based on the clip and the way the guy skates or walks. But it's always just about engagement. You know, it's like we were talking about yesterday with the Marner Leaf stuff. That's just about engagement because you know you're going to get it. Like if you tweet something out that's, you know, flamboyant or inflammatory or whatever, you're getting the likes and responses and follows. It may not be a positive response, but you're going to get it. Yeah,
you are getting a reaction. That's what you're getting. It's a reaction. And
exactly. And
by the way, guys, McJesus 29:45 of ice time in a regulation game since 2025. It was in May 2024 playoffs.
He played 29?
29:45 of ice time.
Okay.
That is from Doogie.
Well, someone else posting into Google, I guess. Who wrote this?
Doogie, you better not have jammed me up on
Dylan.
that.
No, this is different, though. Someone just – we could have done this ourselves, and Doogie could have, too. Last NHL forward to play 30 minutes a game in regulation time. Based on NHL records, since 05-06, the most recent forward to play over 30 minutes in regulation is Mikko Rantanen on Colorado.
Wow.
Yeah, played 30 minutes and 23 seconds.
And he's a big body. Like, he's not a guy that –
man.
Like, that is – like, for Mikko Rantanen –
That game was overtime. Okay, so my bad. Well, that doesn't make sense. But anyway.
Well, if it's an overtime game, then that's not what we're talking about.
Count. Yeah, and this guy – it also said that McKinnon went over 30 that game, too. So there you go. Doogie's on it, man. Yeah. Doogie's Googling and doing his job.
So you're saying that other guy that wrote you that liar was because it was an overtime game.
Yeah.
Overtime shootout. There you go.
Forgot to put that into ChatGPT saying exclude overtime.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
So that's your answer, McDavid. No, the answer is no one. No one has played 30 minutes. The only guy close is McDavid. And he's not playing 30 minutes in reg.
No, but you could you get him
game.
Could you get him to I think you could get him to 24 and he'd be fine. Like 24, 25, like finding extra shifts instead of a third or fourth line, you throw him out there. In Crosby's spot on the third line, how would McDavid look with Stone and Marner?
Yeah.
You know, you go McDavid with his regular line, second line, and then into a third line with McDavid again.
Find shifts. I mean, I think that's fair. I mean, listen, if Sid doesn't play, Morrissey being out is a hit too. Morrissey's the top four guy.
Yes.
You know, you can make a case getting Morrissey back will have more of an impact. Certainly not in terms of the symbolism and the leadership, but in terms of the minutes played and the impact he might have on a game.
Especially when you need stops against a real stacked and complete forward group.
Right.
Finland. I keep making a mistake. I'm bypassing Finland.
Finland is not going to be easy. We just went through it with Czechia.
I know.
Yeah, they're going to play the same way, except the one thing Finland, I do believe, does better than Czechia, they're a pain in the ass. You look at that Lehkonen and that, like they're rats. Like they get underneath, and I say that respectfully. Like they get underneath your skin. They agitate, and then you retaliate. And if it comes down to special teams, 2-2 game, and they get a power play because they draw somebody in, like that's Finland plays really chippy. Well, I like that style of play. I mean, but Canada, you know, Tom Wilson, you know, Marchand, you know, Hagel will be trying to get underneath their skin.
Yep.
Finland plays that game as well. So Canada's got to be ultra disciplined.
Well, they're going to try to drag them into a street fight, effectively. Not fighting, literally, but that's exactly what they're going to try to do. Win 2-1 if you're Finland.
Yep.
You're going to rely on Staros to make big saves. But, it's a benefit. If Sid's not playing, if Morrissey doesn't play, yet the Finns would put their hands up and say, well, we don't have Barkov over here. So we're trying to survive without our best player. And, that Oilers team the last couple of years has taken strays over there because I saw the Finnish coach, was asked, how do you shut down McDavid? He said, I guess I'll call Barkov up, see if I can get some notes on that.
He never said that.
He did say that. He did say that.
He said, I'm going to ask Barkov how to shut him down.
Yeah.
And you got, Matthew Tkachuk yelling at Draisaitl about being a bridesmaid. It's like, man, those Panthers, it's just.
Listen. Well, I don't think Barkov made the.
Barkov's probably going to. What's Barkov going to say? Like, and who's going to stop McDavid on that, too? Barkov would probably say, listen, if my knee was 100%, I could try. But my replacement, probably not going to happen. Rupe Hintz, I don't think he can do it. He's a really good player. Really good player. But I don't see Hintz doing it. Yeah. But, you're right. I'm bypassing Finland as well. More so just hoping we get to this game. But if it gets to the gold on Sunday and Sid can't play, I mean, that's a big boost for the Americans. Like, it just is. And I think what the forward position was the one position definitively owned by Canada, in my opinion. The Americans, I think they got better defense. I think they got a better goalie. Maybe not clutch goalie. You could have that argument all day. But you take Sid out if he's not here. I mean, that balances it out for the Americans. So
There's also a lot of people on the donkey tweets that are like, USA had Quinn Hughes, they win 4 nations. That one was circulating yesterday.
Of course.
Listen, Quinn Hughes is a hell of a player. You take arguably the second best. I mean, there were times where, it's
I know,
Makar
but
and
Noodles, you can't. It's just such a layup to say, if he was playing, the Americans would have won. He wasn't there. They didn't win. Stop with the nonsense.
I'm just saying, there's always something. Like, instead of just celebrating, hey, Canada won that, it's like, well, if they would have had this, it could have, would have, should have. That's what the women's group will be saying. If Poulin was 100%, maybe we win. That because we know she's not 100%. She's just battling. She's a warrior.
She was fighting it today. Like, she didn't have a great game based on her standards.
Yeah, she's a warrior. Guaranteed, it's going to come out that she's pretty banged up. But at the end of the day, there's people on the other side who don't win. That's where the excuse train starts.
Exactly what it is. It's like when you lose, it's always, well, this could have happened or it should have happened. The truth is, now Quinn Hughes is there. And he's making an impact. He's the reason they're playing in the semis because he won it in overtime for them. So we turn the page on the women's tournament. USA, congrats to them. They win gold in overtime. Unbelievable game, tightly checked, close game. The Canada had the lead the whole night. 2:30 left. They gave up the tying goal, and they lose in OT. So more on that. And Mike Johnson coming up later this afternoon. We got John Schneider coming up. We're heading down to Dunedin.
Nice.
I saw on CP24 last night, I guess all the Blue Jays faithful that live down in Dunedin were so jacked to get the Jays back, and they had a big parade, and there's a lot of people excited to have them down. And, we got baseball starting this weekend, man. Like, they're starting ball games this weekend. It's amazing.
I got to ask Schneid something off the Hot Boys, and you're not going to like it. I got to do it, though. I'm doing it. I'm not going to say what it is. You guys probably
I know what it is.
What?
Well, I'm not going to tell you. If would I tell you? Do you want me to say it or not?
Go ahead, yeah.
Did he lay eyes on Vladdy?
No.
Of course he's laid eyes on Vladdy.
I mean,
he's the
Vladdy
manager.
Vladdy,
I
I'm
want
saying,
some of the training camp hats and a couple of the short.
don't do that.
We don't need to do that. We did that years ago.
The
they
swag?
were nice enough to
you
do
want
it.
Swag?
Schneider's got other stuff on his mind. He does
At
not
the very end. I'll save it for the very end.
Sure, you can throw it out there if you need to. All right, John Schneider coming up. OverDrive continues. TSN app and up on YouTube Live.
NASCAR action here on TSN and TSN Plus.
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, OverDrive continues, powered by FanDuel. We've got John Schneider coming up here in a moment. Weather looks beautiful down in Dunedin. They're starting to play games this weekend. It comes at you quickly, man. Pitchers and catchers arrived, and the whole squad shows up. And
isn't it amazing how quickly that shows up, where it's like they lose the World Series, and then it's like, man, they have to sit on that for so long, and now they're fired up again.
Right again. Going again. And 5 weeks down there, and then 162 games. You're back to square one. Like
crazy,
back to
eh?
0-0 win-loss column.
Yeah.
You're tied with everyone else.
It is.
And, 94 wins last year, Game 7 of the World Series. It was just a magical season. And now they got to try to find a way to, I guess, replicate that and then get back to the dance and just get over the top.
Well, we got to ask Schneids about that. Like, can you even focus on recreating the chemistry, or do guys just have to continue to play well? Because I don't think you can ask. You can't recreate that. You got different personalities. Some big ones, some prominent people have left the clubhouse. I don't know if that's one of the focuses, to like recreate that chemistry, because that's all anyone talked about last year.
Yeah.
But it's got to be different.
But you heard him talk in his media saying last year's last year. I think, don't you think that he has to have that mantra? Because if not, the team might have a hangover. The team might be going, hey, we did this last year, showed up, just a matter of time. Like, we've seen Florida. Again, I'll bring it back to hockey. You've seen Florida. You've seen Edmonton, these hangovers, and they start the season slow or whatever. How does in the baseball world they avoid that? Because they play every night.
Yeah, it's well, and conversely, if you do, you can't panic, because you do, like you said, you play every game. You play every night. They didn't have a great start last year, guys.
Yeah,
they didn't come out and win. Yeah, they weren't 8-2 through 10 games.
Jimenez was the only guy hitting for a while.
Right, they struggled, man. It took them a little while, like certainly through April before they got cooking, mid-May, and they had a great summer, great fall, and they just kept going and going and going. But it is a different clubhouse.
Yeah.
Bichette's not there. He's been there for a decade. Bassett's gone. Scherzer gone. Those are big personalities, veteran personalities who spoke all the time, spoke on behalf of the team all the time. I'm sure set a tone in that clubhouse.
And Bichette, dude.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's what I said. Bichette, like Scherzer and Bichette or Bassett, all gone. Like those are three prominent pillars of the organization from a year ago. Mm-hmm. And how do you move on? Now you've got Okamoto here. You've got a different media contingency. Like there's a ton of Japanese media that's going to be following you around. Again, I don't think that affects what you're doing clearly on the field or anything, but it's a different.
It just presents a different vibe.
It's a different vibe. It's a different post game. You're going to have probably media there that's asking specifically about one player every single game.
Yeah.
And you got to prepare.
That would
for
drive
that.
me nuts, dude. Especially if he's playing poorly, and you just want to just say, he stinks. That's what I think.
Right.
And I don't know how that would go over if it's just like, he sucks right now. That's the end of the story. Like, you want to keep asking me about that guy? There was all kinds of coaches they hate. I think Torts hated it. I think Mike Babcock hates it. They hate when it's like, oh, how about so-and-so? I'm pretty sure Sheldon Keefe got sick of being asked about Austin Matthews and William Nylander.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, they hate it. They just want to talk about their team, good or bad.
But that's
the job, man.
It's the job, man. We talked about it. The skip's got to come out and chat every day. For the most part, your leaders have to come out and chat. It's a pain in the ass, but, Keegan, our good buddy Keegan, that's what he does. He gets in there and
right in there. Asking questions, and it can be aggravating, and I get it because it's emotional more than anything. Coming off wins and losses, you're heated. But I thought Schneider, I think he's done a very good job of handling the messaging since he arrived. As a young manager, no major league experience at all, and I thought last year he did a very good job of it too. He's not a guy that generally sewers anybody, and I wouldn't anticipate that's his plan. But last year, once everything got going and they were rocking, like that's a great ride to be on. If you're a manager, it's easy to talk when you're winning a lot of ball games and the city's captivated and you're well into the playoffs and you know where you're going and you feel good about yourselves. This is obviously a different start. And, there's going to be focus on different players. I think they're still – I'm going to ask them, do you feel like you're a better team today than you were this time last year? This time last year, no one was talking World Series contention.
Right.
They might have been saying it in a way that, everyone does. Yeah, we're here to win a World Series. But I don't know how much they truly believed it. But now that we know what we know, you've got Dylan Cease here. You got Ponce here. You got Rogers. You brought in Okamoto. You've lost some pieces too. But how do you compare this team compared to a year ago? So we'll catch up with John Schneider here hopefully in a few moments. And
I was going to say, do you think that losing Bo will be a huge impact? Not as big an impact as Mitch was on the Leafs, but do you think it was, this is a core guy.
I personally do, Jamie. Hayes, what do you think? I think it's a big loss, man.
I think it has
you
the
were gunning
potential
for other
to be.
guys and you didn't get them, and then this guy's gone too.
Yeah. I mean, it's apples to oranges the way the sport plays, but I would challenge you on he is Mitch. That's what he was. Was, Vladdy was Austin. He was Mitch. They came up together. They were both highly promoted and elevated quickly and became young stars, and people loved them, and they were, attached to them. He was the most clutch hitter in baseball last year, and he hit for power, and he was a guy that obviously had a huge presence in the clubhouse. I think it could have a very big impact. It doesn't mean it's going to be crushing. It doesn't mean you can't overcome it. They have to find a way to do that. But you take a bat like that out of the lineup, and a guy who plays the middle of the infield, regardless of how you might have felt about it, that's a prominent position that hit right in the middle of the order that's gone and that has been penciled in for years in that position. And again, you didn't fulfill his role. You brought in, other guys, and you can elevate other guys, and you can push guys around, and Jimenez will play short now.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah,
right.
But literally that's exactly what it is. So, Marner left, Bichette left. You didn't go 1-for-1.
No.
That guy's out and this guy's in. If they sign Tucker, different player, different bat, hits on the other side of the plate. But you could say
borderline upgrade if Tucker came in.
Exactly. You could say, hey, this actually makes sense because of this. That didn't happen with Bichette. And, speaking of Okamoto, he's going to have to hit the ground running. He has to step in and hit and play and be a presence and be a guy that they can rely on, because that's the bat that they've acquired in the offseason. That's who they brought in. They put a lot of eggs into the rotation. I think that's a smart play. I think Dylan Cease will be very good for them. I think they're going to have to rely on Barrios getting back into the action. Hopefully Bieber gets healthy soon. I think that rotation's got a chance to be really, really good. Bullpen should be pretty good. But the bats, it's a legitimate question. Are they going to be as powerful? Are they going to be as potent this year? I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of bracing for them to take a step back. So if that happens, you got to compensate in other areas. All right, we'll try to catch up with John Schneider. We got Mike Johnson coming up in about a half an hour. And Best Bet's back with the NBA. We're tracking Riviera and Genesis. I think they shut it down due to rain earlier today. I mean, it's a good thing in L.A., right? People complaining about the rain. You need the rain considering the history of that city. And
tell me we have one guy atop the leaderboard.
I think your boy Akshay was back at it again last time I checked.
No way.
Yeah, man. Well, he was leading the charge at Pebble, and he just couldn't get it done on Sunday.
Yeah, and you know why? Because Min Woo Lee absolutely jammed him on Saturday. I'm not sure if you got to see what he did. It was disgusting.
It was really gross what Min Woo was doing.
Dude, Sammy Burns and someone else were standing there saying, we cannot believe what we're watching from this guy. It took him an hour to play 18.
Yeah.
And stinky old Akshay was on the tee. He was freezing his ass. Did you see how cold Akshay was?
It was so windy and cold and miserable and dark.
He made the football coach in Miami look like a stud because he was freezing his ass off. And he's like, I can't believe this guy.
Yeah, Min Woo, that was a greasy play. But, yeah, Akshay Bhatia at 3 under. McElroy, my boy, at 3 under. Sammy Burns at 2 under. I got Sammy. So, yeah, we got a couple of guys on the hunt here. None of us took Morikawa, and he's coming off a win. He's a California guy, goofy play.
Tailor-made guy.
Tailor-made guy. He's hitting the spider, the tour. He's got the mallet in play now.
People, check it out.
Yes.
Everyone that's winning is using a spider. Like, go through the Scotty, all of them.
Literally
Morikawa.
everybody's playing the mallet.
Yeah, Goddard,
everybody. McIlroy, they're all playing the tailor-made spider. All right, John Schneider and Mike Johnson coming up. OverDrive continues up on the TSN app.
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
Yes, she's a 360 all the way around.
All right, Mike Johnson coming up. John Schneider. John might be taking, I don't know, Japanese lessons or something, right? Like, you want to
Might have to.
keep up with the Japanese media that's over here.
What's with Vladdy? It seemed like Vladdy last year, a little bit after the contract, was like, don't need the interpreter. Playoffs, don't need the interpreter. Got back to spring training. Get over here and figure this out for me. I just found it odd. I thought, and I don't care. I don't generally make a bunch about interviews players, but it was just, I just found it interesting.
Yeah, I think it's always been a comfort level. You know, that's my understanding from Latin American players, Japanese players. You know, Ichiro, I believe, has said it many times. Like, Ichiro could speak fluent English.
Yeah.
but he always was worried about context or, say the wrong word. So just for safety purposes.
Yeah, I guess that would be an important thing for.
But you're right, though. Like Vladdy corrected the interpreter the other day where he was saying something, and he's like, in the clubhouse, he goes, dugout. Like, he knows what's going on.
Yeah.
He knows exactly how to
probably not as
follow along and
comfortable.
everything.
Who was he the pitcher? Is the Blue Jay who had who had the broken English, who said he had to go to the bathroom? I had to take a crap. Do you remember that years ago?
No, that was a Japanese.
That was a Yankee.
He was a Japanese guy.
Yeah.
No,
there might have been a J. I don't remember that. I remember there was a
J.
famous one with the Yankees. What was his name? Because
Matsui?
Rivera's in the background.
Was it Matsui? I don't know.
No,
if
it wasn't.
Matsui.
It was a pitcher. I'm blank. I'm watching him.
I think he was he said he was dehydrated, and they said you have to eat bananas. He kept saying you got to eat bananas. Like, that guy was really funny. He was a J. I can't remember his name. Somebody will send it to me. But he was funny.
It was Kawasaki, who JP is saying. He wasn't a pitcher.
Oh, he wasn't a pitcher. So
I don't remember that. I mean, I could picture that,
funny.
but there was a famous one with the Yankees.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, the guy
that
was
one.
like, I had diarrhea.
That was it. And then he's like, what's so funny?
Tough.
And everyone's dying. And Rivera's in the background, like, looking at him, dying, laughing, like, I'm out of here. See you later.
Yeah.
And he just kept going and going. He's like, no, this is what is happening.
Yeah.
This is
I'm
what's
telling
happening.
you, I had diarrhea.
And it was actually really kind of refreshing because people are like, wow, no American would ever say that.
No. And he was he was like, listen, you asked me, and I told you, man. That's why I left.
Right.
Yeah.
Why couldn't you pitch in the eighth? I'll tell you exactly why.
Yeah. Diarrhea.
Okay.
We got to find that clip. It's a great
I know,
clip.
it's very funny, very funny. But I think I'm talking about two different players.
You're
but
talking about something different. I don't
sound clips
recall
are very
that
funny.
one with the Jays. I'm
Yeah.
not saying it didn't happen. I don't remember that one.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it was Chan-Ho Park. That's what it
Chan-Ho
was.
Park. Chan-Ho
Okay.
Park. Yes. Chan-Ho Park with the Yankees. And Rivera's in the background. It's so good. We got to find that
love
clip.
it.
We got to play it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, Vladdy, I don't know. It's also a long season. You're getting asked a lot. Like, I thought he did a great job in the playoffs. Like, his post-game on-the-field interviews, some of the stuff he did with Hazel May was phenomenal. What he did with
he was
Fox,
winning,
it was
Brian.
great.
That's why it was so great.
It was so great. It was great.
He had a performance for the ages.
Yes.
Like, that's the thing. So what? I guess. Are you worried that he starts slow? Like, what is regular season Vladdy? Because we saw playoff Vladdy. Like, that's a monster. He was an absolute monster. But regular season Vladdy, like, what is he? Is he? Can he get to 40 dingers?
Yes.
Can he
That
do
has
that,
to be
right?
the
You would
ambition.
like to think so, because
Yes.
what did he get last year? 23?
23 home
26 or something.
runs.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
I think that is clearly the bar that has to be set.
Yeah.
You should be hitting 40 home runs. You got to have an OPS somewhere in the mid-9s, maybe chase 1,000, get on base a ton. And it's not obviously realistic, nor does anyone expect him to do what he did in the playoffs and just,
Right.
do that over the course of 155
But
games.
let me ask you this, Hayes. Do we focus too much on, what are you doing as an individual? We've done it with McDavid. We've done it with Austin Matthews. Like, do we really care if Vladdy hits 40 dingers if he performs like that in the playoffs? Honestly, like, what do we really care about it? I know there's people that go to the ball game every day that want to see him play, and obviously more than 23 would be ideal. But if he hits 30 and he performs like that in the playoffs, although I think it's a little bit unrealistic to wish for that, but it's because it just doesn't happen every year, especially for the Jays. But it's almost like we put all this focus on you better get your 50, you better get your 100 points, your 50 home runs, when ultimately, what the hell does it really mean? What is it important for?
Well, regular season stats, you're right. Oh, if you have success in the playoffs, nobody cares. It's just get through, and that actually, it's funny. That's where you went at the start of the season, Brian, with McDavid. You're like, this guy doesn't care about Hart trophies and winning scoring titles and that. This guy just wants to try and win a Stanley Cup. And I think, but with Vladdy, with Austin Matthews, with all of these guys, the regular season still matters.
Well, you got to make the playoffs is the point.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
23 home runs, nobody cares because they won 94 games and made the playoffs.
Right.
So you afforded yourself the opportunity, or your team did, and he factored into the success. Like, Vladdy had a really good year. 23 home runs, hit almost 300, I think, like a sub 90 OPS, played every day, played well defensively. He factored in greatly to their team's success. But it wasn't like what Aaron Judge does for the Yankees, where it's like the reason they have 94 wins is because of that guy. Like his wins above replacement was like 9 or something. Vladdy's was like 4.5.
I guess you're right. It's tied to the team's success where they got to produce.
Yes, that's it. Like if the team is flourishing, just factor in, be great, and elevate at the right time. Yeah. If the team is not flourishing, you better step your ass up and get something done here to get them to the finish line.
True. But it's where people are like, maybe that's unfair. Well, then don't sign the $500 million contract.
That's it. Like I think you give them that kind of deal clearly for the playoff success, but they're not making the playoffs 14 years in a row. That's not happening. He's not going to the playoffs every year.
There's going to be some lean years.
Yeah, of course. Right. There's going to be ups and downs and ebbs and flows. But what you need from him, what you would expect is, and you've seen it, he's got the capabilities of kind of chasing down, 40 home runs and being a potent hitter all the time. And, yes, you can have slumps and off days. That's natural. But in the American League, it's like Aaron Judge is so further above anyone else and has been for a few years.
Not even funny.
He's the guy, though, that's most likely or has the ability and talent to possibly push him a little bit. Not necessarily catch him, but who's number 2? Bobby Witt Jr., Ramirez in Seattle, or Rodriguez in Seattle. Like, who is it? Is it, I don't know. I don't know who the next guy would be that you would look at and say he can chase down Judge. I think what Vladdy did over that month in the playoffs would suggest it should be him. So, do we have the Chan-Ho Park? Do you guys want to?
Yeah, I want to hear that. And I think if people are writing, it was Kawasaki who was talking about the bananas and stuff like that. He was so funny, too.
He was
banana never cramp.
Exactly.
He played short at times.
That guy was so funny, really funny, too. I don't know.
Our guy Barry Davis, he was talking to Barry Davis.
Yes.
Banana never cramp.
He would do post-game interviews all the time, and everyone was like, I got to hear from Kawasaki. I got to know what he's up to.
So funny. I was watching clips of him the other day. That's why I'm like, it was a Blue Jay. I thought he was a pitcher, but he's not. Apologies. But it was so funny. Like he was a character. I would love to, in Japanese, I guarantee you he's the funniest guy. Like when he's comfortable in his own language. So funny.
Yeah. Oh. So, this is – what year was this from, Chan-Ho Park?
Probably late 90s, wasn't it?
That was, a while back.
I don't know. Yeah, Rivera was still pitching.
Yeah.
All right, let's throw to the Yankees clubhouse back in the day.
I had a lot of diarrhea. That's what you want to know?
Your manager said you were sick.
Yeah, I had a lot of diarrhea. Yeah, I had a diarrhea and then. Why? Why is it funny?
No.
I mean,
He thinks
save it. Yeah, the off day, I had a lot of diarrhea, so, and I feel very flu. And then yesterday I got flu too, like a lot of cough, and then just chest hurt and feel dehydrated, something like that.
All right, there you go. There you go. That was awesome. 2010. Yeah, he was with the Yankees for a brief period of time. He wasn't with the Yankees long, but he was in the majors for a long time, man, Chan-Ho Park. But,
just being honest.
I love it. That's what we're looking for. You guys always say, don't jump on a guy for giving the honest truth.
I'm not. But the thing is I guarantee you, Vladdy's like, I never want a sound clip like that. I don't want to, misinterpret something or, say something. So he's like, I'll use the interpreter, even though probably good chances he understands 90% of it.
Yeah,
I don't think there's only so many ways you can break down diarrhea. I don't know what an interpreter is going to
I wouldn't be worried
chisel
about that
up and spit it out a different way.
Do you think that was his teammate? I think it was his teammates.
No, that was a reporter.
I think it was a reporter that was like,
sure.
Okay, because I think that was Rivera behind him. I'm pretty sure it was. All right, so anyway, hopefully John Schneider will join us in the next hour. Mike Johnson coming up. The Americans beat Canada in overtime today. If you're just tuning in, it was a great game. Canada had a 1-0 lead basically the whole game. About 2:33 left on the clock.
It broke my heart. I was crushed, man.
And it was crushing. And, Hillary Knight, it's her last Olympics. Poulin, it's her last Olympics, likely. We'll see. I mean, I'm curious what happens over the next 4 years. But she tied the game with a great tip in front. And 3-on-3 in overtime, it's a wild, wild roller coaster. We just saw it yesterday on the men's side. Finland got through an OT, Canada through an OT, the U.S. through an OT. And you drop the puck with that kind of talent, 3-on-3. There's so much ice.
Dude, anything can happen, man.
Anything can happen, and it ends quick, right?
Yeah.
It ends quick. The Canada-U.S. played for maybe 5 minutes in OT, maybe. Yesterday was the second shift. Martin was the second group out.
I know.
You know what I liked about especially the women playing today? There was not the circle back and the circle back. It was like, let's go and try to end this.
I thought it was – their shot selection was unique too. Down the walls, I'm going to shoot this.
Get it on net.
Exactly. It was just a little bit different from if a guy, in the men's hockey, guy down the wall, they're looking for the perfect play. And with women, it was straight line, use your speed, trying to get to the inside. And they made it happen. Unfortunately, it was on the wrong side for us.
It stings, man. The Americans, now they get to hold that over us for the next 4 years. Yeah. But credit to the U.S. winning gold earlier this afternoon. All right, Mike Johnson, John Schneider coming up. Best Bets coming up. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on the TSN app.
What do you crave?
I crave something that gets my heart rate up.
I need help here. I crave something a little more glamorous.
All personnel to the ER.
Over here. Can I get a selfie?
Crave is now bigger and better with must-see hit series, live events, select sports, and news to satisfy whatever you crave.
What are you eating?
PB&J.
Crave, endlessly entertaining.
Well, what are you?
Oh, just trying to solve the mystery of how to get to the damn crime scene.
Special Agent Will Trent. We don't have much time.
That thing you do, you better do it fast.
This killer's underestimating you. Good. They won't even see you coming.
What now? We get him.
My mind, it hasn't been right. I'm confusing time. No one could know.
Memory of a Killer, all new Monday on CTV.
This is OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
So the NBA is going to attempt on clamping down on tanking. How? Adam Silver is sending out a document to all the GMs. What could this possibly... Are they just going to have a lottery, like a traditional lottery where anybody can get the first... Like, how do you prevent tanking? What measures do you think he's going to go to here?
It's a great question because all eyes are on it. And this is what's tough about the NBA is they've had to put out so many fires and they create their own fires. And then, like the NBA's back tonight. We're off the All-Star break. The Raptors are playing tonight.
Yeah,
and we're
Chicago.
talking about tanking. Like there's great stories in the NBA.
Could he not have waited till the summer to address that? Like, why did it have to be the day before startup?
Right.
Or the day of startup?
That's my thing here with Silver. It's like, they just hammered Utah and Indiana, so that became a massive story. And now you're out of the break, and you're talking about tanking again, or it's being reported on what you sent to the 30 GMs. You're not going to figure it out between now and the end of this season. So I get it. I admire that they're going to try to figure it out. I'll believe it when I see it. I don't think you can have a tournament.
I'm just wondering what they could do, Brian. These guys love tanking, man.
Yes, and I understand why, because of the nature of the sport, where if you get one great player, it changes everything for you.
Yeah.
More so than any other sport, outside of maybe a great quarterback in the NFL. That's it. Like, if there's a great quarterback at the top of the NFL draft, you're going to tank for him. And if there's a superstar talent at the top of the NBA draft like Wemby or LeBron or whatever, they're going to tank for it because it's worth literally hundreds of millions of dollars to have that player on your team.
I know, dude, but when San Antonio got Wemby, I think they had the 5th worst odds.
They moved up.
They backed into Wemby. They didn't tank and were the worst team in the league.
You're right, but there was a lot of tanking going on that year. Everyone was dropping off trying to get him. But they've proposed, or it's been thrown out there, the idea that they'd actually have a tournament. Like the teams that missed the playoffs would play for the number one pick. I think that would actually lead to just as much tanking.
Yeah.
Teams in the middle are like, man, maybe if we miss the playoffs because we're going to get pumped.
Yeah, we can go play for it.
We can go play for first pick.
Yeah.
Like if I'm an owner, I'm like, let me get this straight. We're going to backdoor into the playoffs and get pumped. Or we can go
that
play
is
these
ridiculous.
donkeys.
There's enough games. They already have the other tournament where you end up in Vegas, the Players Cup. Nobody wants to play more games.
Yeah.
The only way to do it is through the draft. You're going to have a traditional draft where there might be some type of percentages, but everybody can win the lottery. I don't know. But other organizations are going to say, every other one of these organizations that have been terrible, they've had a way out of it. That's their way out of being terrible. And if they don't get the chance, they're like, no, we're getting screwed.
And my stance on it has always been, I think the NFL's got it right. If you're last, you get the first pick. Like, I get they do the lottery to avoid it. The reality is there are some teams, they're not tanking. They just stink. They're awful.
They're not very good.
It's unfair to their fans to be a fan of a team that's horrendous and then you don't have any light at the end of the tunnel because you might lose the lottery and pick 4th.
I think the NBA, Brian, if they did that, it would be way worse. Like, the race to get to dead last would be disgusting.
It would be, but at the same time, you got to – I think what he's going to do is probably look at, a certain – trying to police who's playing, how often they're playing, when they're playing. I don't know how you do it. I really don't. I don't have an answer for you. But he's the commissioner, so he's got to figure it out. This is your job. You make $50 million a year to figure it out or whatever.
But there's workarounds, too. If Kawhi doesn't want to play in back-to-backs, they're going to figure out how he doesn't want to play in back-to-backs. That's
Kawhi was a pioneer, man. He was
like literally.
He was a pioneer of load management, boy.
And what happened is everybody caught on, and now in the NBA it's an epidemic. So you got to figure out how to not do that. It's crazy how that sport is it just becomes acceptable. What do you expect them to play 2 games in a row in 2 days? Are you crazy? Like that's
where they're at in the NBA. Yeah, it's where they're at, and listen, these guys are massive human beings, beings, and
running up and down the court
tough sport.
It's a very taxing sport. Then protect them, spread out the schedule.
Yes.
Don't have back-to-backs. Don't have back-to-backs. Just say you want to do the anti-tanking. Say we're not going to do back-to-backs. We're going to spread the schedule out so these guys have a day in between games mandatory.
Right.
Start earlier and make it 72 games instead of 82.
And you got to play
something like that. Again, you're looking at revenues. Basketball is a very high revenue sport. There are creative ways to sort that out to make sure that the product doesn't suffer. You heard me yesterday complaining about the product of the NHL because of the jammed-in schedule. Like, that's stuff that has to be sorted out, because when the Olympics are over and it's the stretch drive down into the playoffs, there is going to be some dog games as usual because guys are going to be dog-tired, right?
Well, the NHL is going to add games and add teams. So the NHL is different. They're regional and they're going a different direction. The NBA, they make so much money with national TV and stuff.
Yeah.
You'd think it's possible to contract games, but they're probably going to do what the NHL's doing. They're going to add teams and stay around 82 games. All right, joining us now on the Maple Toyota Hotline, live from Milan. Here's our main man, our TSN hockey analyst, Mike Johnson. What's happening, Johnny?
Ciao.
Buongiorno, fellas. How are we doing? It's been a minute. I've been watching you, but I haven't seen you. It's 11 o'clock here. Canada recovering from that tough overtime loss by the women. Played a great game. I actually was able to go to Canada Hockey House to watch it with some of the parents and staff, and a whole bunch of people were there. Wayne Gretzky was there. It was great, ready to celebrate. And then it's the worst when you lose because it just wah, wah, wah. Everyone just walks out of there like nothing.
It's devastating,
kind of party,
Johnny.
and then just get home. It's the worst. It's terrible. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, it is. And with where this game lines up in the scheduling, you can party. Right, it's Thursday. You could party for 2 or 3 more days. It's different on the men's side. I saw Brendan Morrow was on Chaser's podcast, Chaser and Brett Hull, and he was talking about winning the gold in 2010 and how guys just took off because they're like, we got to get back to the NHL. We're out of here. There's no party. We're leaving. Yeah. We're gone.
Mm-hmm.
We're showering, saying goodbye, and we're leaving. The women, the Americans, are going to party for 3 days in that village. And I don't know if you're a Canadian.
That would make me on the opposition to want to go home immediately. I can't watch them. Like, if I saw them running around hammering beers and carrying their it would make me sick. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And they're all friends, right? Like, they all played PWHL together, college together. Like, it's not like they're just randoms. You kind of have to talk to them and see them. I'm with I'd be like, nope, next flight out of here. I'm out. I don't need to. I don't want the closing ceremonies. I just want to get out of here and process this on my own.
Yeah, no, that one stung, man. It was a great game. They had it. Give up the time.
They played so well. Best game they played all tournament by a mile.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, we were wondering coming off that, we don't believe it changes anything for the men's side in terms of pressure. They had the pressure anyway. Canada, USA, whoever won the game today on the women's side, it might be inspiring for the Americans. Maybe it's inspiring for the Canadians, but the pressure wasn't going to change. If Crosby doesn't go, how does that affect your viewpoint of playing Finland tomorrow? If you get through them, presumably playing the Americans on Sunday, how much does it change your prediction of Canada winning the next 2 games if Sid can't play?
It changes it quite a bit when you couple it with Nathan McKinnon playing like he's not 100% healthy either. Like if Nate was full bore and going like McDavid is, then I would be totally okay with Nick Suzuki sliding in that hole, playing with Stone and Marner and being pretty good because I would have two lines charging. But what Sid has done for that line is made it the second best offensive line, while Nate has had a hard time finding chemistry or finding the connection or finding the game or finding the health to be as good as they need him to be. So if you take Sid out and you put Nate in even compromised, then it starts getting a little bit thinner down the middle because, that was supposed to be the great advantage of Canada. Nick Suzuki is going to have to be really good, but to beat America without Crosby, without Morrissey maybe, and without a healthy McKinnon, that's going to be a task the way they play defense. The Americans would and should go into that final if they play each other as a pretty considerable favorite.
So, Johnny, I'm sure we're going to bring up Mitch Marner at some point. I'll leave it to the guys, but I want to talk about Jordan Binnington. Again, what do you make of his performance? We were talking about it yesterday of him being a clutch goaltender in big situations, makes the big save at the right time. I mean, you laid eyes on it. You were right up and close and personal. What do you make of his performance and maybe a little bit of his legacy and what you can make of how he's able to raise his game in big situations?
Sort of belies reason, doesn't it? Like, there's not a lot of, you watch his play this year and you look at his numbers and you're like, why would this guy be able to do this? Because if he could just do it, why doesn't he do it for St. Louis, right? But for whatever you want, he has a way to win games. I don't love his rebound control, Noodles. He's kicked some pucks out in some bad spots, but, he made a save on Nate just on a breakaway 2 times. He had Simic staring him down in overtime. He gives his team a chance to win when he plays for Canada. Now, he clearly is asked to do a lot less for Canada than he's asked to do for St. Louis, and maybe that helps him, but he does enough. And I think in Canada, we care, especially internationally, only about one thing. We do not care about goal save above expected. We do not care about save percentage. We care about W's, golds, titles. And if he wins that Stanley Cup, 4 Nations hero, somehow gets into a gold medal on what is now a sort of injury-depleted team, he's checking off a lot of the boxes of stuff that the greats haven't done as the starter. So it would be impressive. There's still, though, a sense of a little unease. You're confident because he's done it, but you're not positive that he's going to make every single save. There's a little bit of that, oh boy, but he does enough, and that's all that really matters.
Johnny, I have a proposition for you and your nerd bean counter friends, but I don't think you'll like it. What about with the absence of Sidney Crosby, Sammy Bennett, elevation. Say, Sammy Bennett, it's your time. You're the second-line centerman for the Panthers on cup runs. Why don't you do some damage out there, Sammy Bennett? Or do you and the bean counters say no to that?
Me and all my bean counters would say no to that. Sam Bennett, he's been sick. Well, I look at a guy who's got 40 points. We're going to put Nick Suzuki there, a guy who's got 70. You tell me.
Well, I know Nick Conn Smythe and won 2 Stanley Cups and is the best player that steps on the ice. What do your bean counters think of that?
I think that Nick Suzuki won the MVP of the OHL, and when he's been in the playoffs, he's produced very well, albeit not all the way to the Stanley Cup. And Sam Bennett hasn't been impactful yet in this tournament. Now, maybe he's waiting for this time, but I could see him being a bit of a rover. I'll give you that much. I'm not going to ask him to drive a line because right now I think you need sort of as much cohesiveness as you can find because the line's going to be all over the place. You got McDavid's line, McKinnon's line. I think Suzuki goes right into Crosby's spot if Sidney Crosby can't play. But I think Sam Bennett maybe finds some time with McKinnon. Or maybe if McKinnon goes to the first line, they put a Bennett, Wilson, Horvat, energy, physical line together. But he just hasn't played a lot of minutes. He hasn't played a big role. He hasn't had a huge impact despite his great resume. I think it'd be asking a lot to throw him into a game that's going to be pretty tough and expect him to drive a line on his own.
As a professional puck knower, and you are as well, I'm surprised you dropped OHL playoffs on me right there, like it was some kind of mic drop.
It wasn't. I'm just saying you can only be good in the big moments that you've played in, right? He's not been in a world championship. He's not been in the Stanley Cup final. So his next biggest moments, NHL playoffs, he's been very productive. And the next biggest one before that was where he was one of the best players in the OHL playoffs. I mean, you can only go by what you have. It doesn't mean everything, but it means something.
Yeah, I mean, Bennett, we'll see. Like, the illness is interesting. I didn't realize that's why he didn't play the other day. That came out, I believe, today.
And did you see him, Hayes, in the stands? I was wondering when they showed him, he was by himself. I'm like, where's Kemper? Where's Morrissey? I think it's because he was sick and he was sort of isolated, even in the stands, to watch the game by himself.
Yeah, that's trouble. But I think, Finland's a different beast, and they got to get through that. It does feel like the Americans, we've talked about this for the last year, the IOC, IIHF, how they're going to call the game. It's not Four Nations. It's not fights off the draw. It's not. It's going to be played differently and called differently. But I look at Sam Bennett, if he's healthy, as a guy against the Americans, I want him over the boards playing 12, 13 minutes. Like, go create
100%.
space. Go hit
100%.
people, But
you know what's going to happen? They're going to try to sick the Kachucks on McDavid the same way they did on Draisaitl, right? It's the same idea. Bump them, bobber them, face wash them, always a bridesmaid them, whatever. And in that moment, guess who I want on McDavid's wing? Sammy Bennett to go to Matthew Tkachuk, say, Matt, love ya. You touch him again, we're going to fight. We're both getting kicked out of this game. Or I'm going to run Quinn Hughes into the 14th row and get suspended, but I don't care because I'm not playing another Olympics. That's what I want that guy there for in that game.
I'm so jacked up for Sunday!
Yes. You're not finding that on a grid somewhere.
But they have to get there.
Yes,
and I think
they have to get there.
Coming off the emotion and the fatigue and the injuries and the illness, and Finland's actually played quite well other than their first game where they were sort of goalied by Slovakia. Like, I think Suzuki's probably a better fit in that game, but you get to America, we'll have this conversation again. I would start him. I'm like, send a message. That's it. Charlie McAvoy, you're running around. Guess who's back? It's going to be McDavid between Wilson and Bennett. Have at it, boys. Try them and see what they do. Yes. It won't be the same. There won't be the fights, but that kind of energy, especially early for Canada, to say, we're not dealing with any of that nonsense, you guys. You guys want to play that chippy in your face, really push the limits. We got guys who can push them further than you, and we're gonna use them. That's what they're here for.
So, Johnny, we were talking about earlier, again, this is if Crosby goes. I still have a feeling Crosby's going to find a way to get into a game if they get to
tomorrow?
The gold medal. No, not tomorrow. If they play on Sunday, if they get there. And I'm saying if, because I don't want to put the cart before the horse. But do you envision, as far as the deployment of minutes, could you find double shifts for McDavid in a center position? That's, to me, this guy can handle, we were talking, he can handle 24, 25 minutes. And if it's only 2 games, you do it against Finland, and if you make it against the U.S., would you not be, not too shy to be moving him around the lineup?
Yeah, 100%. But I don't think it's a double shift, Noodles. I think they just play his line a boatload. I think it's a single shift, but it's Celebrini and him get, 22, 23, 24. They did not play a lot early. The first couple games, 16 minutes, 17 minutes, 15 minutes. So for Connor, that is way less than usual. But what you can't do is what we saw Germany do. They ran Leon Draisaitl into the ground. So by the end, he could barely play. You need Connor to get there and be great. But it was wild watching against Czechia where, the super deep, uber talented offensive team by Canada, you were basically saying, God, I hope Connor McDavid can get them a goal because nobody else is going to. That's sort of what, it's not quite that, and it didn't because Suzuki got one and Marner got one, but that's how it's sort of developed a little bit with McKinnon's injury and Crosby's injury.
With Mike Johnson, and, you mentioned Marner. And we had a lengthy discussion about it was a remarkable goal and how he's played and the reaction. Mark Stone saying the clutch thing, maybe it's a Toronto thing. And
that was a dick comment. I couldn't stand that comment.
You know what that says, though? It just tells you that the Toronto Maple Leafs, love them or hate them, they matter and resonate more than anything else around the NHL as far as a club.
That's what Hazy said.
everybody sort of loves to take pot shots. Everyone loves to poke out needle them a little bit. The fans, the 67. Like, if Mitch Marner had the exact same track record in Nashville, Mark Sloan's not saying that. He only says it because it's Toronto. If he had that same track record in Winnipeg, he wouldn't say that about Connor Hellebuck. And Winnipeg, same thing sort of holds true, doesn't it? But he would never say it because he's not going to bother. But they do it to Toronto because they know it gets a rise. Marchand, Doughty, all the great guys who come in and kind of stir it up that way. Yeah, it just sort of tells you that how much Toronto resonates around the league.
Yeah. Well, and listen, it was a great play. It was a phenomenal play. Yeah. And, if Sid's out, I know we're going to look up the middle of the ice, but Marner's not playing with him anymore, and he's got to elevate and he's got to keep playing well. And, I'm curious what else he has in store.
Did you think he had a great game against Czechia?
No, I didn't think he did.
He had a great finish.
I could care less. I could care less. He had his moment. It was spectacular.
I didn't think anyone played great, Johnny. Like, I thought they were. I thought McDavid was moving, Celebrini was moving, but it wasn't like a great performance all around.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, that was the team they played against, forced them to look that way, and that's right. Like, take nothing away from Mitch Marner. That is, I was saying, he probably in his entire athletic career will never have a moment where he feels the same electricity in his body that he would have felt when he scored that goal. Like, I don't know if it can ever happen. I mean, gold medal, obviously, if he scores an overtime goal. But I just don't know if it can happen. That's how unique the environment was yesterday. And he took it, and he had to make a big play, and he did, and he won on 3. And if Connor McDavid did that, we would be putting him on the $5 bill. Like, we would be celebrating that forever. But I was talking to somebody, and they're like, why can't he score goals in Game 7s in Toronto? And I'm like, well, he had assists, but he didn't score goals. But I'll just say this, and again, I'm not diminishing anything, but just pointing out facts. NHL Game 7s are played at 5-on-5. His 2 overtime goals for Team Canada are 3-on-3. You have to be great, but it's a different skill set to do what he did against Sweden last year, against Czechia the other day, than it is to maybe do it in NHL overtime. So incredible for him, happy family, all of it. It's great. But the discourse around the Leafs is just all a little much.
And it's very predictable. I mean, it plays and everyone's on board with it and everyone's got a take on it. We'll get you out of here with a prediction here. If Sid's out, the rules are someone has to be named captain, and I would presume they'll add another A to someone's jersey. Who's the captain if Sid's not playing? Who gets the extra A?
The captain is Connor, obviously. The way he's playing and the respect that he has, it's got to be him. What is Cale Makar, the other assistant? Is that right?
Yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Right?
Makar.
McKinnon will get the other A.
McKinnon will get the other
Drew
one.
Doughty on there, man. Drew Doughty's a lifer there, dude. I know he's not a captain in L.A. Throw an A on his jersey. Come on.
I think that would almost bother Nate. I think Nate's okay with it as it is. He would be probably tweaked by giving it to somebody else. And Drew, tomorrow, if Morrissey plays, Drew might play 6 minutes. So, yeah, I'm giving it to Nate.
You think Morrissey will play, Johnny? Because he's an important guy, too.
I just spent 2 hours with his brother. I couldn't get it out of him. He would not give me anything at this hockey house in Canada. He would not tell me anything about him. He is very important. Like, when they elected to take Parayko, Sanheim, Doughty, those are all defensive defenders that don't move the puck great, but they had Makar and they had Morrissey and a little bit of Theodore. When you take Morrissey out of the lineup, they miss what he does because there's not many other guys in that core that do it quite like him. My sense is, no, I don't think he plays tomorrow. I think he plays Sunday. I think everyone's just going to load up Sunday and give it a whirl. If they get there for the gold. If they get to the bronze, none of them are playing. Marchand's not playing. Right. McKinnon might not be playing. Morrissey not playing. But if they get to the gold, then everyone would probably be available.
Well, you got to get through Finland first. 10:40 tomorrow. Have a great call, Johnny. Good stuff, buddy. We'll do it again soon.
All right, fellas. Have a good weekend.
There he is, Mike Johnson, our TSN hockey analyst, joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline. It's time to Toyota with the all-electric Toyota BZ. Goes from 0 to 100 in just 5.1 seconds and charges from 10 to 80%, just 30 minutes. Drop by Maple Toyota today.
You know what I'm worried about, and this is something to deal with starting next week, He just said, like, Canada's kind of the walking wounded. What is going to be the fallout for those club teams when they get back? Like,
that's for them to figure out.
I
that's
understand
for them to figure out, but you're right.
But
it's
my
a problem.
point being is, like I say, we talked about William Nylander limping into the break or not limping into the break. Maybe those 8 days is going to help him get in order.
Yep.
Is it 8 days, 7 days,
He's
whatever
got more
it
time
is.
now. Yeah,
more
you're
time.
right.
But, Marchand, that team is in one. McKinnon's not. They could take their foot off the gas there. Morrissey, obviously, I think Winnipeg's in one or worse. But these are significant players that their club team is going, we need you when you come back. And
McKinnon's chasing a Hart Trophy.
Yeah,
it may not matter, but, it's
it's true.
McDavid's 100%. Like, McDavid is flying and ready to play.
Well, yeah.
We'll see what happens on, tomorrow and on Sunday.
How many beers do you think Johnny gave Morrissey's brother? 5, like a 5-pack to say, give me the scoop.
Yeah, you got to try to lean into him a little bit, but no scoop.
I think you got to give him a beer and a shot follower. That's the only way. Like, you give him 4 shots of brown liquor, and then he'll just be like, he's playing.
Yeah.
It's Rick Bushwood, and then you start there, and then you move up to Stevie Caldwell on top of Rick Bushwood.
Well, Johnny evidently did not do that, and we still don't know what's up with Morrissey, but you're right. There's a lot of players, man. They might be limping out of these Olympic Games.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any debating that.
No.
All right, John Schneider coming up. Best bet still to come. OverDrive continues up on YouTube Live.
My mind, it hasn't been right. I'm confusing time. No one can know.
Memory of a Killer, all new Monday on CTV.
All right, OverDrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Best bets later in the hour. It's weird because the Olympics continue, but the NHL teams are back, right? Like the Leafs are on the ice, and you're getting kind of practice updates, who's there, who's not. Like Chris Tanev being on the ice is pretty big news, I think. You know, I'll believe it when I see it that he plays. You know, hopefully he can return. But that would be a significant impact on this team.
At least means he might want to give it one more crack before he packs it in the season, which is, you know.
Yeah, depending on what the nature of his injury has been. That's the scary part. You know, you don't know, right? So the fact that he's around and just hasn't packed it in, it is a good sign. But, you know, it always, you know, for somebody who knows him, like I've met him a few times, wonderful human, great player. You're just always wondering, like, okay, is that the last time if you get, because there's been a few weird injuries and all of a sudden he's just not there.
That's what he's got. Like, let's just be honest. You could tell just by the time he's missed and the severity of some of the. And the one thing that's concerning, I don't know if you guys remember when Chris Pronger got hit in Philadelphia in the corner. It was like you saw the hit and you're like, that was nothing. And he ended up getting concussed from that. And in the same building, Chris Tanev kind of bumped into a guy and went down, and it was like, of all the punishment this guy's taken in his career, and that one sent him down. So this guy's clearly got something serious. Like, it's not just a nick, but he's going to give it one more shot, it looks like, to see if he can get through this, because it's clearly not some – you know, nick or groin or what it's not something like that. This guy's trying to give it one more shot.
Big time. And listen, they got 25 games left. They're 6 points out. Is it worth it? I don't know. Can you reset and come back next year? I mean, these are all questions that I'm sure they're contemplating clearly. Himself, the team, everybody. So we'll see what comes of it. Again, the U.S. beating Canada in overtime on the women's side today. The Olympic Games continuing. But it's pretty wild. We got the Olympic Games going on. And we got spring training up and running back down in Dunedin. We got games cooking this weekend down in Florida. And we head there now and catch up with the manager of the Blue Jays. Here's John Schneider. How you doing, John?
Fellas, what's going on? How you doing?
We're doing very well. Thank you for doing this. Did that one feel quick for you, getting back to Dunedin, or what?
Well, I live down here, but it's, you kind of blink and here it is. You know, everyone's back. It's been great, though. It really has. It was, you know, productive off season, but definitely went fast. Definitely some different routines for guys after playing in November. But it was awesome to get everyone back here, and so far so good in camp.
Schneids, tell me this. Coaches worry a lot. You guys, I think the players, we do that to you. But for everybody that thinks, oh, they went to the World Series and everything's going to be a party and smooth sailing come spring training, like, what would keep you up at night these days? Please tell me. I'd love to know.
Nothing, right? Yeah, I'd be lying. I think really I don't worry much about this group because they're that level-headed, but I think the things that, I mean, health is always the thing, right? Health is always the thing no matter how late you play into the season, and making sure that we're kind of hitting benchmarks for everyone to get ready for the season. That's really the thing. Everyone's going to be a little bit different. Like, you guys will see, pitchers will be kind of ramped up at different speeds. That's from the physical part. And then just the mentality part. You know, I told the guys first full squad workout, it's, you know, hey, last year was good, and we have to recognize it, and we have to understand what made us good, but we can't rest on it. You know, you have to, I said, we're not defending the American League East, we're not defending the American League. You know, we still came up a little bit short, so we're attacking 26 like we did 25 with the goal of winning the World Series. So I think them hearing that, you know, is good, but that's how they're thinking too, you know, and I want anyone who's new in the room to kind of hear that and not just assume that, you know, hey, everything is smooth sailing and, you know, let's have a World Series rematch in October of this year. You know, just the how we got there was what's important.
Well, and you mentioned the new guys here, but what about the guys who have left, that have been pillars in that clubhouse? Bo in particular, Bassett the last few years. Max was only here for a year, Scherzer, but he's a massive personality and presence. Those three in particular, among others, but those three in particular, them not in the clubhouse, how does that kind of affect the dynamic? What have you seen early in camp?
Yeah, we were looking forward to see how it kind of played out. It's definitely different, right? And I think you bring in Dylan, you bring in Cody in the rotation, and you have two more pretty unique personalities, and you guys will probably get to know them and see them. They fit right in. And in terms of Bo, he was here for a long time and did a lot of great things. And baseball, everyone's going to have relationships with him. I still I was texting with Chris Bassett yesterday, kind of giving him some crap about when we're going to face him. And you're going to have relationships with guys that you were around for a long time. But I think when new people come in, there's always a little bit of turnover. There's always a little bit of adjusting from people that are here. I think Vladimir will have a louder voice. I think Kevin Gausman will. I think Dalton Varsho will. That's kind of how it works. It's just, you move on to the next year, and when you're around the same group every single day, these new characters kind of come out, and we've been really kind of paying attention. We paid attention to that last year, and then it became, part of our DNA, like this amazing clubhouse culture, and you have to kind of let it unfold, You can only say so much, but you have to kind of let guys step up that need to step up or that you would think would step up. And if there's things that myself or the staff have to do to kind of nudge a little bit, we do that. But for the most part, it's been cool to see new faces. And as good as that team was last year, I'll remember it forever. I think some change can be a good thing and kind of keep people on their toes a little bit. So different, yeah, but I think we've been here for a couple weeks, and I think it kind of just becomes the new norm.
So, John, a new season, but you saw another level from some of your players in the playoffs last year. Do you have to adjust your expectation with them? And we were talking about it last hour, how well Vladdy played in the playoffs compared to in the regular season. Do you adjust your expectations for them to start the season, or do you just kind of, business as usual?
That's a good question. I've been asked that quite a bit in the off season and even when camp starts. I think that at the very least, you want to kind of meet in the middle a little bit. The experiences that everyone gained, myself included, staff included, they have to make you better. And you have to realize that that is the highest stress environment in our sport that we went through. And it should make normal things a little bit easier. So really just asking the guys and asking ourselves, like, hey, what were you doing in that moment? What were you doing in that 3-4 week stretch to where you're just kind of in the zone? Was it focus? Was it attention to detail? Was it just worrying about winning? Whatever it was, let's dive into that. Let's talk about that. So expectations, they're going to be raised, but I think when you just expect things to happen, that's where you get in trouble. I think that guys that had these remarkable postseasons between Vladimir, Ernie, Trey, Addison Barger, Alejandro Kirk, it's kind of, okay, Nathan Lucas, it's kind of like, okay, what did you do in the entire year and even before the year to get to that point? And how can we continue to build upon that? And how can we continue to make strides we're trying to make? But remembering that when you're in those situations, you've already been in the biggest environment this sport has to offer. So let's try to stay in that zone as early and often as we can.
That's what I was going to ask you, John. It's like guys like Ernie Clement and Lucas, like they played out of their ass, and it's like they got to be convinced, or they should be able to convince themselves that. And I don't think they have to be superheroes every day, but they're not just a guy anymore. But they just got to find some kind of balance there, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, for sure. And again, like I said it I said it this year and I said it last year, where I just want the guys to be who they are and not try to do things that they're not great at. You work at things you need to get better on, but it's the definition of a team. I still want to out team every other team. I don't want to have one player carry us. I want these guys to understand how we are built, how we function as a team, as 26, both position players and pitchers. You got to play in sync. So for all the recognition, notoriety, and the numbers they put up, I still don't want those guys to try to be anyone they're not. I think when guys kind of continue to get better, then it's just a better version of what they already were, which was already damn good. So it's been a constant conversation we've had with the entire group to where this is how we're built, this is what we're good at, and let's continue to lean into that.
With John Schneider, manager of the Blue Jays, down in Dunedin, again, they get started this weekend back into spring training action. Your rotation it was a strength, obviously, at times last year, certainly down the stretch into the playoffs, and in the front office dumped a lot of money and resources into it. You bring Cease in, you bring Ponce in. Obviously, Bieber wasn't here this time last year, and I know he's not ready to ramp up, but the hope is that'll be soon. How do you see this? How do you map out your rotation? You said you've been down there for a week or so, week and a half. You're dealing with some injuries. You still have Barrios, who's still here, and we know what happened with him at the end of the year and into the playoffs. But it seems like you got a lot of options, a lot of right-handed arms. Eric's down there as well. Yeah. How do you see this playing out? Because clearly the front office, and I'm sure you're aligned with them, feel like it should be a real strength for you guys.
Yeah, I think when you kind of look at overall our season, there were times our starting pitching was great, and there were times our offense was great. Our defense was always stable. And I think that adding a guy like Dylan and Cody, it kind of just addresses a need for some swing and miss and a need for some durability and consistency. I mean, we talk about, stuff and durability, that's kind of Dylan Cease to a T. And when we acquired him, there's a pretty clear alignment between us and him, even when we were kind of recruiting him, going back and forth, that we feel like there's some real potential for him to get even better and to take some big jumps this year even. So that's exciting. You have, the old staple, just Mr. Reliable and Kevin Gausman, who I can't say enough good things about. He looks great for, a guy who's, getting up there a little bit, but just comparing him to his previous spring trainings, I don't know if it was a shorter layoff, but Kev looks great, hasn't missed a beat. And then, Hosey too. I mean, fully healthy. He's looked sharp. His stuff is back to where it was probably 2 years ago in terms of velocity and breaking ball. Change his breaking ball a little bit to make it a little bit bigger. So I love the guys are trying to evolve still too. And then that's before we even talk about Trey Savage. What he did down the stretch and into the postseason and World Series was remarkable. After him, you have Eric Lauer. So we're gonna try to build these guys all up as starters, obviously. And then Biebs isn't that far behind. Biebs is throwing, feeling good. He's out to like 120 feet. Hopefully in the next, I would say, call it week to 2 weeks, he's getting off the mound and kind of starting his progression. So there's options coming too. That's kind of how we look at it, but feel really good about the stuff and the profile of everyone's pitches, that they're pretty unique. They're definitely different from night to night and guy to guy. So it's you can never have enough pitching. We get that. We know that. And there's some young dudes knocking on the door too, man. Ricky Tiedemann looks great. There's some guys that are opening our eyes down here as well.
Beautiful. With John Schneider. Are you at all nervous with, Okamoto over here that Keegan Matheson has taken the Japanese media under his wing down in Dunedin?
They'll be hammered every night.
I think Keegs have to take it easy on the sake maybe, but and as long as he doesn't have to, take all the Japanese media to his favorite place, Wawa, down here. If you guys don't know about Wawa, it's a convenience store / grocery store. Keegs wears them out, but it's a whole new world, man. I mean, there is so many more people there every day. Okamoto is such a perfect fit for us. Just like his skill set, he makes contact. He can hit home runs. He's solid at third base, and he's really funny. I think that when you get to really know him, not that we do yet, but being around him every day, man, he fits right in with George, with Vlad, Varsh. He's a character, and I think that there's going to be, some fun to be had with the media that follows him as well.
When you get to spring training, is it like natural instinct for you being the skip? Like, do you do a once? I know my hockey coaches, like, they just eyeball you up and down and take a real good peek at what you were up to in the off season. Like, is that just like part of the gig where you just get eyes on somebody and just say, I'm going to
That's
do
so
a
true.
once over here? Is that just natural instinct for you to do that, or do you do that?
Oh hell yeah! You know, I haven't joined I haven't joined the Best Shape of Your Life club yet, but you know, I think that the amount of times you hear, "Hey, what's up? Great to see you. How's your family? Good. Oh man, you look great." Like those lines right there, like you hear that all the time. But yeah, man, I mean, we're in touch with these guys and we're keeping tabs on them, and you know, especially after last season, going through the World Series, playing as long as you possibly could, right? Game 7 of the World Series. We wanted to make sure everyone was getting enough rest, but not, getting the late start of the season. So yeah, you definitely do that. And there's some guys that got after it. You know what I mean? I think it's always that way every single season. Pitchers, hitters, it's just kind of what you do when you see people. You're kind of saying, all right, were you getting after it, or were you kind of smelling your flowers or whatever they call it, because we had a pretty good year, But everyone is here and in shape and accounted for, so that's been a good thing.
This is my last one, and it's kind of a nerdy sports junkie question, but that compound down there is massive. Who in the hell lays out the schedule on what everybody's doing? Because there's a million people down there, and everybody's doing different things. Like, who maps that out?
Yeah, all right. So I'm going to give some credit where credit's due. So new staff member this year, Eric Duncan. He's a stud. He was our minor league field coordinator for, I believe, the last 2 or 3 years. Former first-round pick. He's been a hitting coach in the big leagues before. He does the whole schedule. So him and Pete lay out the pitching, where everyone's going, who's throwing where, how many pitches. And then DeMarlo and Dunk are kind of spearheading where everyone else is going, with Dunk doing the dirty work of kind of getting it on a computer, making sure it's all printed, and then he sends it out the night before to everyone. And then once the day starts, it's the worst job in baseball. I've done it. Running a spring training, man, it's just everybody needs you. I feel like somebody can kind of feel my pain that I go through the regular season, or where everyone needs you as soon as you walk in. Hey, where's this? What machine's on this field? Who can I talk to about this? It's going to rain. It may not rain. So it's Eric Duncan nails it, man. He's the brains behind the whole operation, and he's been nailed so far. He's going to be an awesome addition to the staff.
Love it. Well, we're excited to have you guys back in Dunedin. That means you're coming home real soon, which is pretty wild.
I know, man. Yeah, we can't wait. I could sit here and talk for hours to you guys about it. Just like the feeling we had in Toronto down the stretch and at the end of the year, man, and how the fan base was embracing us, and how we felt it even in the off season, man. We've had March 23rd circled on our calendars for a while, the day we're flying up there. We can't wait.
It's going to be awesome. Well, you got to get through the spring first, and you guys are obviously off and running this weekend. But we can't thank you enough for taking time for us, and enjoy the spring. We'll catch up before the season starts.
All right, fellas. I appreciate it. Thanks.
There he is, John Schneider, manager for the Blue Jays. That is a great question, though, because you see the tape every day, SportsCenter. It's like guys are everywhere doing different stuff.
Well,
there's 80, and the thing is, guys are pains in the asses too. Like, imagine dealing with all those different personalities where it's like, you're going to be here at 10 a.m., throw 30, whoever puts that together puts some serious, you got to have some organizational skills, man, because there is bodies everywhere.
Big time.
State of the art. I mean, though, that facility is ridiculous.
It's incredible.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's so
and
cool.
I did you guys a favor. I didn't ask them for a couple, but here's what I'm going to do. If anybody's going down to Dunedin in the next week or so, shoot me a note on Twitter. I'll send you an e-transfer. Me and my brother want a couple of the new hats, maybe some other things. Let me know if you can help me out.
Okay. There you go. Let's get that credit card going on Twitter DMs with people.
Just hand it out.
Dude, I'm not going to send. What do you think? I'm stupid?
I don't know. I'm a little concerned. Egg Avatar, some guy that just got on Twitter this minute. Yeah,
can you guys imagine? I lost it all through an egg avatar trying to get a Jays hat.
Blue Jays hat. And
everything gone. 30 grand.
Next thing you know, have you seen, there's some people, like poor Steve Coolius was one of them. I'm getting some DMs where it's like, hey, I'm going to sign up for I'm going to sign up for this podcast. Eric Stevens, who covers the LA teams, he sent me it. And then I wrote back. This was like when it first came out, and I was like, dude, are you serious? I don't talk to you that often. You need me to vote on a podcast? And the response was, yes, this is real. Sure enough, I hammered it. I'm like, vote for, and then I just
fake.
realized.
Yeah, it's a virus.
It's a mess. It's a mess.
Can't do it. Don't do it. Yeah, don't do it. All right, Best Bets coming up. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and up on TSN 5.
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, Best Bets powered by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Raptors back in action off the break in Chicago. They beat up on Chicago. Bulls not great. Laying 6.5. I'm hammering it. Raptors big tonight, healthy. The All-Stars are ready to go. Darko was there on the bench. Everyone got the All-Star experience. I love the Raps down the stretch here. Get into the playoffs. Avoid the play-in. Get into the playoffs. Figure out what you're doing here. Get healthy. Raptors laying 6.5 tonight. Best bets powered by FanDuel. From tip-off to the final buzzer, same-game parlays around the NBA. Available on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Please play responsibly. 19+, physically located in Ontario. All right. Next time we're on the air, Canada, Finland will be over.
Yeah.
And they're either in the gold medal game or the bronze, one way or the other. Full breakdown tomorrow.
Yeah.
And the U.S. will be playing Slovakia. So full breakdown on that as well. It's going to be a wild hockey day tomorrow at the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes for helping out. We appreciate it. Everyone for tuning in today. TV, radio, podcast, web, up on YouTube Live. Every show streaming live on TSN's YouTube channel. We're out of here. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy the games tonight. We're back tomorrow at...
Barf, let's change the tide. You know what you did. 4 p.m.
We'll chat then.
Well, it was the matchup we expected, but not the result we were cheering for. Hello, Canada, and welcome into SportsCenter. It's Sarah Davis with you. Canada and USA playing for gold at the Winter Olympics, and what a fight the Canadian women put up. Coming within minutes of winning gold, but the Americans would not back down, and they had a comeback that left our country's team in tears. It was tough. But how about this? Tom Brady. He's on hand to see the next chapter of this rivalry. And this is the 7th time these two teams have met in the gold medal game at the Winter Olympics. Canada won 4 of the previous 6 meetings, but the U.S. have dominated the rivalry as of late, winning 7 straight games. We made up early here in the second when Canada is shorthanded.
To center, Stacey leading the charge. The power kill to work. Stacey to O'Neal to the backhand. She scores! Kristen O'Neal strikes first for Canada in the gold medal game.
That's the first goal the Americans have allowed in over 352 minutes of game time. Canada lost 5-0 to the Americans in the preliminary round, but Kristen O'Neal getting the shorthanded marker to open the scoring. Her parents so emotional in the crowd. And the underdog Canadians have a 1-0 lead through 2 periods. I love that reaction.